Okay, now we're in for a real treat. Our last speaker is co-founder of Gatsby, Sam Bagrat, here to share some incredible insights on building with Strapi and Gatsby. It never ceases to amaze me how many awesome people are actively building and creating and sharing tools and ideas with Strapi. It's a brilliant community and amazing people. Thank you so much for joining. Over to you, Sam.
Hi there. My name is Sam Bogwood, and I'm the co-founder and chief strategy officer at Gatsby. I'm so glad to be here with you at StrapiConf and talking about how you use Gatsby and Strapi together. No matter if you're just getting started or maybe evaluating using Gatsby and Strapi together, if you've shipped a couple of small sites, or if you work on a production instance of Gatsby and Strapi every day at work, I hope this talk has something interesting or helpful or meaningful or useful for you, and hopefully something fun too. We're going to be talking about the community, and then we're going to go from how you get started with Gatsby and Strapi to the cutting edge of what you can do with these technologies together. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. So community is incredibly important. Community are the people that are building the plugins that you use, maintaining, filing issues, adding documentation. And thousands of developers use Gatsby and Strapi together every week. Over the last few months, I've talked to probably a dozen of you. It's an incredibly geographically diverse community. Find your dot on the map, right? Or maybe a dot nearby you. It's incredible, the kind of vast walks of life, and that's kind of part of what sets Gatsby and Strapi community apart relative to the kind of community of the broader community of web developers. Gatsby and Strapi developers, like folks using these two technologies together, are much more likely to be from Africa, Southeast Asia, South Asia, Latin America, Eastern Europe, and Russia. And that shows in a number of ways in terms of the sites that get built with Strapi and Gatsby together. Sites, there are sites like Star Health, which is an Indian health insurance company that has hundreds of thousands of members and millions of visitors to its site every month. Initialized Capital, a US-based venture capital firm that was the first institutional investor in Coinbase, the cryptocurrency company. Agility Telecom, a Brazilian kind of regional ISP provider. It's part of the sixth largest Brazilian ISP service in the country. Festival Pass, an event, music, food, subscription service when the world goes back to normal. And Tasty Appetite, and I'm getting hungry sort of looking at this, but it's a YouTube cooking channel with over 85,000 subscribers, focusing on Indian dishes, themes. And Money Geek, which is financial advice website with content as well as like calculators, mortgage calculator, cost of living calculator. And there's just a wide variety of really interesting, cool, unique, helpful websites that are being built with Strapi and Gatsby together. It's exciting just to sort of like look through and comb through a lot of this stuff. Why do Strapi developers love Gatsby, and why do Gatsby developers love Strapi? But we're going to start with the first one. And really so there's some aesthetic similarity that's kind of funny. 6 letters, sounds like kind of similar, the purple, but okay, fine. Like leaving that aside, right? There's basically 3 reasons why. And the first one is performance. Gatsby sites are really, really fast because of all the optimizations we've done on top of the normal static delivery stuff to make loading it seamless for users. That's relative to other component based website frameworks. That's also relative to monolithic CMSs. Gatsby sites are really, really fast. So the ecosystem. Strapi and Gatsby users sort of like rave a lot about the ecosystem. The ability to integrate Strapi with complementary systems, whether you're doing e-commerce, for example, maybe you're doing documentation, maybe you're doing tabular data, and a system other than Strapi makes more sense to hold that data. Gatsby lets you integrate these systems easily through and kind of drop in functionality that you need, whether that's SEO or maybe offline functionality, as well as third-party systems like analytics and search. There are over 2,700 plugins today in the Gatsby ecosystem. And the saying we have is no matter what you need to do, there's a plugin for that. Then Gatsby and Strapi users really appreciate how the sort of these technologies are great for developers and marketers, whether that's incremental builds and being able to share development work with stakeholders, publish content quickly, real-time content preview and content editors being able to see what the content looks like before they push it out and it goes live on the website. Okay, great. So then the flip side is why do Gatsby developers love Strapi? And there's I think a reason that has to do kind of with the variety of other options. And you've got sort of these legacy open source monolithic hybrid CMSs that have some benefits around low cost and customizability, right, on the one hand. Or you've got kind of on the other hand, these kind of like cloud headless CMSs with great APIs and scalable. And when you're working on a project, a lot of times folks feel like they're forced to choose between them, right? But the great thing about that, like Gatsby and Strapi users love, is that Strapi kind of gives you the best of both worlds in terms of being able to put these, pair kind of like low cost and customizability with this like great API and scalability. So at this point, you're probably wondering, how do I get started with Gatsby and Strapi? Well, good news, you don't have to start with Hello World. There's 3 starters that the Strapi team put together that have a lot of functionality out of the box. So we're going to go there. We're going to go to the Gatsby starter showcase, starter library, which is here at gatsbyjs.com/starters. And then we're going to scroll down to CMS Strapi. And now we've got these 3 starters. So we have the catalog starter, which is an e-commerce starter. We've got the corporate site starter, which is a corporate site, as you might expect. And we've got the blog starter. So again, catalog starter. I'll just kind of walk around this a little bit. We're going to walk through kind of each one in turn. So this is a Gatsby Starter Strapi catalog. You can see that it's got all your kind of typical sort of product feature functionality. They use kind of music as a theme here, and we've got kind of a beautiful, kind of like some beautiful pictures in here. We also have sort of categories, and then we can also do some search. So search for a violin, we're going to search for a piano, and this is super fast local search kind of functionality provided, so now we're going to look at the corporate site. So we're going to go, here's a contact page, pricing page, list of UI sections, and we've got some customer testimonials. Subscribe to our newsletter. So again, if these are things that you need or like are useful, probably good to start with the corporate site template and build off of there. Then last one. We're going to look at the blog. So this is the Strapi Starter Gatsby blog. You can kind of see, it's a fairly standard blog, got some nice hero images, author section, page content, and, science content, and so forth. So great. We've now, now kind of taken you a little bit through each of the starters, and now we're going to take one of them and we're going to build some, interesting functionality into it. And kind of go from, again, the starter, getting started, to the cutting edge. Okay, so let's talk about what's new and coming with Gatsby and Strapi. So a bunch of stuff. March 2021, Gatsby v3 shipped. So Gatsby v3 has incremental builds for faster builds, especially for large sites, 30%, 50%, and sometimes more. Build speed improvements, fast refresh with React 17, so a snappier dev experience. The new Gatsby plugin image, which we're going to be demoing later, which is really exciting. Boost to performance as well as to DX for folks using Gatsby image. Also in March, also at Gatsby Conf, Gatsby Cloud hosting launched. So we'll be demoing that as well later. But Gatsby Cloud offers hosting now, along with preview and the fastest builds of Gatsby sites. So super exciting kind of transition to kind of an all-in-one platform for running the Gatsby side of your Gatsby and Strapi site. April, so we have a new Strapi Starter Gatsby blog, which is upgraded to Gatsby v3 for 12 points faster Lighthouse scores. The other two starters should be upgraded soon. And coming soon is Gatsby Source Strapi v1. Right now it's in alpha. V1 is going to have dynamic zone support. Stay tuned for news on build speeds. We don't want to speak too fast on that, but just stay tuned for the Gatsby Source Strapi v1. And so let's jump from here into the Gatsby plugin image demo. Okay, so we're going to go and go through the new Gatsby v3. We're going to start by looking at Gatsby plugin image. And we're going to specifically get rid of this placeholder traced SVG. Actually, we're going to start with placeholder traced SVG just to demo what the effect is like. So I think you saw that there, that sort of flash of color. I'm going to refresh it again in case you didn't. Now I've throttled the internet connection to fast 3G, which and so again you see those polygons. Appear as the page was coming in. So that's the traced SVG ethos, holding image placeholders as they're coming in. But what if you want something different, right? What if you want sort of like straight the default, which is the dominant color? That's what Instagram has. So we're just going to delete this in the GraphQL query here that's representing this image. We're just going to delete this and then we'll get the desired behavior. So you saw a flash of that, but we're going to just full reload the page. And then you saw that sort of neat fade in with the dominant color. So the image background was brown. The image background was that sort of nice brownish color, which really faded into this really sepia image. It's actually a bit haunting given the story here. But we're going to do placeholder blurred.
And again, the page should automatically reload. I'm just showing the hot reloading and code changes being incorporated, but we're going to do a full refresh just to show what this is going to look like. And again, you can see that blur effect. It wasn't all one dominant color. You had a couple of different colors coming in, and I'll just do that again so you can kind of see that blur effect. Great. So image handling is just getting so much. It's advancing by leaps and bounds. I would say every 3 months, 6 months, we're adding kind of new defaults here. Let's look at formats. So there's a number of things that Gatsby Image will let you do. Formats is another option here that lets you compress into AVIF. AVIF gives you 25% greater 25% greater image compression, so it can be a real boost to users. So the last thing we should talk about with regards to Gatsby plugin image is image sizing. So previously, image sizing was a little bit tricky from a syntax point of view in Gatsby v2. It could confuse some people how you got images to stay at a specific fixed width, or conversely, like this image, be a full width image across the screen. So you can see here. You can see here in the syntax, we have a number of images. This image in particular here, let me maximize this. This particular image is full width, which we demonstrate by saying layout full width here. Whereas the author image, a little bit farther down on the page, right here, is a fixed size. So we just look at width 30 to generate that fixed size image. So in Gatsby v2, the syntax could be confusing to some folks. There were different props. Gatsby v3 and Gatsby plugin image. It's all simpler and more straightforward. These are all just options that you feed to layout, the layout field. So you can, again, all of this is available in the documentation. You just go to the reference, Gatsby docs, reference, a Gatsby image plugin API, and it has all of the props that you'll need. I haven't gotten to static image. Static image is the simplest syntax for using Gatsby image. It's basically a drop-in replacement for IMG SRC with all of the cool effects that you just saw. So you can just type in static image with a source equal to a specific file and put in a height or width if you want, and that's it. Hey there. So this is the second thing we're going to demo, which is deployment and hosting through Gatsby Cloud. Now, first, I've set up a Strapi instance on Heroku. We're going to go set up an instance of this blog and deploy it live using Gatsby Cloud. So, in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through the process of setting up a Gatsby Cloud account. You're going to click Add a Site, import from a Git repository, select GitHub on my Strapi blog. The base directory here is actually starter, and right now I'm building off of a separate branch. So I'm going to pick a different branch there. And we're going to call this C4 Strapi conf. Great. Okay, and now we are skip this step for now, and we need to set our API URL. So use the trailing slash, save this, and create a site. Great. And so now our build is starting. And we're going to set up some webhooks. So we're going to look at this. We're going to just set up a build webhook now. So what this does is every time you make a change in Strapi, it's going to push a change to Gatsby Cloud. Fairly sensible action here. We're going to go to settings, webhooks, add a new webhook, Gatsby Cloud, deploy webhook. We're going to save this. We're going to go back and see where how our site is doing. Great. So it's built in 59 seconds, and now it is deploying. Now we can view the build, and it is live. I'll minimize this so we can see. Yeah, here's our blog build, and looks great. Okay, so now we're gonna try triggering some webhooks, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and we're going to change some of the content. So instead of beautiful picture, so we've got a blog post here that says beautiful picture, and instead of beautiful picture here, we're gonna type in very beautiful picture, and we're gonna save it. And now we're going to go back to Gatsby Cloud. And there's been a data update from Strapi, so it's rebuilding. Now, this is incremental builds on Gatsby Cloud. Builds in 3 seconds, deployed in 7 seconds. So 10 seconds later, your data, oops, there's my tab limiter. And it now says very beautiful picture, and the title says very beautiful picture. So incremental builds are pretty exciting. Okay, so last thing we're going to do today is use Gatsby hosting. We're going to set up a custom domain using Gatsby Cloud. So let's see, we are going to add a domain. We're going to add this Gatsby blog Strapi starter. Actually, we're gonna Strapi conf. We're gonna go just do strapiconf.gatsbyblog starter strapi.com. Great. So now it tells us that we need to update our DNS records, which we will. And I'm going to go to my domain host, which is Google Domains, and do that. Okay, so now it's, I think, 10 or 15 minutes later, and DNS is finished propagating. So strapiconf gatsbyblog.starterstrapi.com is on. So let's take a look at our nice new domain. Woo! Here we go, and we have a very beautiful picture over here. So now let's kind of take this thing through its paces. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do some wordsmithing. We have a very, very beautiful picture, and we decide that since it's so breathtaking, we want to call it a breathtakingly beautiful picture. And we're going to see how long it takes this change to get from our Strapi instance to live on the internet. So we're going to hit save here. And now we're going to hit start over here. And we're going to go check out Gatsby Cloud. This is the last change that went through here. So our new change should have registered. Yep, it registered. Oh, it's already built and it's already deployed, which is great. So we have deployed it. It does sometimes take a couple of seconds to kind of propagate through the CDN network, even after it gets deployed to Fastly. So they have a ton of points of presence, and so it can take a little while. So you're going to see, aha, breathtakingly beautiful picture, built and deployed in, I believe that was under 45 seconds. So that's Strapi and Gatsby for you. Build a great site, build a beautiful site, get started quickly, and deploy changes incredibly fast. Glad I could share this with you.
So thank you. Thanks for being here at StrapiConf. Thanks for being part of the Gatsby and Strapi community, and thank you for listening to my talk. Again, I'm Sam Bogwit. I'm the co-founder and chief strategy officer at Gatsby. You can find me on Twitter at CalcSam, and look forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you, Sam, for that awesome intro and walkthrough and discussion about Strapi and how it works with Gatsby. They seem to be like a match made in heaven. So thank you so much for that. This has been a masterclass for how to build the next thing in Strapi. So I hope you've learned and gained so much information from this talk and from this track.